Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about running your own company. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, I have another question now. Can you become a junior level soft can you become a senior level software developer, or can you become a junior level software engineer, or maybe even a senior on your own? I am in a strange position in which where I was a manual tester for 2 years, then a marketer for 2 years, and then a developer for 6 months. Now I have won a grant to fund my own startup, and I'm having imposter syndrome, like more more like I can't even read what he's writing. I'm a very junior developer, and I'm going to be leading my own tiny 3 people company. Do you have any advice? Where do I get help when I get stuck? Besides Googling, of course, can I ask friends? But it's not the same as having a senior coworker by your side every day. Uh, if you are, I've said this several times before. If you're a junior software developer, you can become a senior. It's really down to just time and trying and working at it. It's simply going to be harder. That's all. It's going to take longer, or it's going to be more difficult to find answers to your questions. Because that's kind of the thing. That's why humans evolve over time, because we don't start from scratch. We take the learnings from the previous generation. It's the same thing with being a software engineer. You have a senior next to you, listen to that person, because they've done stuff before you. But you can learn all that stuff by yourself by just trial and error. And the only advice I can give you that is probably going to be useful to you is that whenever you're running a startup, focus on, you should understand that running a early stage startup, it's less about the tech than you think, because at that scale literally anything will work, unless you're doing something that is very specific. But for the average company, everything, it doesn't matter what you're using, doesn't matter what stack you're using, doesn't matter what services you're using. Find the cheapest, fastest thing that will get the job done, and focus exclusively on product development. Because in those early days, you're fighting to survive, you're fighting to get the money to last until you find a steady business model that will give you money. Without more money, it doesn't matter what you're betting on, because you're going to run out of the money. So when you have the money and you see that you actually can make a profit from this thing, it's at that stage you can hire more experienced people to come and fix the mess that you just made. Because it's simply too expensive for you to do that to start off with, usually. Unless you know exactly what you're doing. Because then it doesn't matter. But I mean, it's the same thing. If you're in your 20s and you start a company, it's going to be a lot messier than if you start a company after running or being a CEO at some other company for 50 years. It's the same deal. You're just more experienced. You know more things. So you're coming with prior information, prior knowledge. So you kind of know these things already. You know what works, what's not going to work. But in the early days, just focus on getting happy customers and creating a business model that is going to make you a profit at any cost. Everything else is secondary. Money, 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 money. Make sure that you ignore all best practices and all that good stuff, that unless it is something that directly helps you deliver faster, create a more a happier customer, whatever. Listen to your customers, focus on trying to build something people are willing to pay for, or something where you can make a profit. And when you have these things, when you have a semi-steady, like when you have enough funding or if enough revenue or something like that, so you can afford it, hire a more experienced senior developer. Offer them a position. You might think that, oh, nobody's going to want to work for me. Don't worry about it. There are plenty of senior software developers who are really tired, or they have their second awakening, from their big corporate cushy job where everything's boring and everybody's annoying, and they're going to be very open to trying out working at a startup. And if you then go and build some relationships, connections, or network a little bit with the more experienced senior developers in your region or even abroad, and you say, hey, we are this small company and we need someone to take charge here, because that's the thing, that's one of those things that can go over really well with the senior experiences, especially if they work in big corporations where they don't have a lot of freedom and a lot, like, where they can't really make all that many decisions. If you tell them that, hey, we're this tiny startup, and you're transparent and say, we really need someone to help us take our company to the next level, would you be interested? A lot of very experienced programmers will be very interested in that, because you're basically giving them a chance to try out their own ideas, to try out their own, to be the person who's making all the decisions. And that might be something that is very attractive to them. I know of quite a lot of developers who have gone over to startups for that exact reason. So what I want you to take away from this is that yes, you can become a junior software developer without any help, and you can become a senior without any help. It's just going to be harder than if you have a teacher or a mentor or something like that. And if you're starting your own company from absolute scratch, it's a tiny little startup, focus on one thing and one thing only: product development. Focus on making a sustainable business before anything else. Ignore all trends, ignore all things that are in any way a distraction from delivering business value to your customers and making a profit. Sometimes doing the quick dirty thing is the best thing, and sometimes you have an already made solution that some people are going to tell you is shit, but it's going to get you there faster. As I said, that's the only rule that matters. Is it going to get you to where you get a steady revenue stream faster? That's the only thing that matters, because you're fighting the clock at that stage. If you run out of money, it doesn't matter if you followed all the best practices, you're still out of money and the company's dead. And when you have secured a business model that is sustainable, then you can go on the hunt for more experienced developers and offer them a chance to come into your company and help you either fix the things that the legacy that you accumulated when you were building the company, or at the very least just be that voice of experience in your company for future decisions. And trust me when I say this, there's a lot of senior developers who would consider a lower salary for that sort of opportunity. Have a great day.